If it wasn't for Argentina's cheating, this ball is nowhere near Nico Williams, but then shove from Molina right in the back, pushes Nico Williams into the path of the ball, allowing him to head it back, and then Ferran Torres puts the ball away and slays Argentina. Without Molina's cheating and pushing on Nico Williams, he would have been nowhere near that.
The U.S. burned through almost its whole inventory of advanced cruise missiles in 5 weeks. And rebuilding that inventory requires rare earth magnets and tungsten, both of which are mostly controlled by China, which isn't happy with the US now. Trump's upcoming trip to China is supposed to focus on keeping those rare earth supplies flowing in. And what critical thing would China give that up for? For oil.
This ICC judge can't use his bank cards or book a holiday online because he's been sanctioned by the US for his role in approving an arrest warrant for Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. In February 2025, Nicolas Guillou and 7 other judges from the International Criminal Court were put on a list of 15,000 individuals blacklisted by the US.
In this sanctions list, you have the terrorists from Al-Qaeda, from Daesh, and you have international drug traffickers. And in the middle of that, now you have the judges of the International Criminal Court. With the sanctions, basically do not have any service from a US company. It can be the big platforms, Airbnb or Booking. For example, I made a reservation on Expedia. It was cancelled. And it's the same with credit cards, because in Europe we use credit cards that are American. Visa, MasterCard, American Express. And in most countries, we do not have any alternative. We have a travel ban. We cannot go to the United States. The assets that we could have there would be frozen. And it's a prohibition from any US person, whether it's an individual or a company, to provide service to us. We live like in the 90s, where we didn't have all these tools.
In November 2024, Judge Guillou and 2 others on a panel found there were reasonable grounds that Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, and a Hamas commander, Mohammed Deif, or criminal responsibility for alleged war crimes and crimes against humanity committed from October 2023 to May 2024. The ICC accused Netanyahu and Gallant of the war crime of starvation as a method of warfare and the crimes against humanity of murder, persecution, and other inhumane acts. US President Donald Trump said the court had abused its power by issuing arrest warrants for Netanyahu and Gallant because Israel is not a member of the ICC, and therefore the court has no jurisdiction. Trump also said it could set a dangerous precedent that could expose members of the US military to possible arrest.
When I joined the court, I knew that it was not going to be easy. I knew that my personal life could be affected because we are an institution that can be contested by some actors all around the planet. When you attack the institutions that are supposed to protect the weakest on this planet, you reinforce the law of the strongest and the law of the richest to the detriment of the law, full stop.
Judge Guillou says he's adapted to living like it's the 90s.
The beauty of being older than the younger generation is that you lived in a time where the tools that we have today didn't exist. I was a student in the 90s. There was no cell phone. There was no internet. I was perfectly happy.
What advice would you give to the men that fear rejection?
Don't worry about it.
Why don't women just follow that same advice?
Shit. It's different. We have different emotions.
Why don't women just follow the same advice?
You are so good at this, aren't you? Because men are supposed to be the aggressor. I am not an aggressor, so I'm a woman. I think men are more aggressive, so you should come, you should do the approaching. And let me stay in my soft girl area.
Women want to be chased. They don't want to do the chasing.
So, related to that, if women approaching men is seen as desperate, why wouldn't it also make men look desperate?
It's just a different ball game for men and women. Like, as a woman, if you're approaching a guy, you're not in your feminine energy, you're in your masculine, and right off the bat.
Well, why is anything that women don't want to do labeled masculinity?
There's this machine that can undo the apocalypse.
Work harder than you ever thought you would ever work. Believe in the game. Believe in your people, particularly the staff at the league office and at the clubs, because they are the They're the army that you have to lead. You got to go to your owners and get them aligned around a shared vision and be the cheerleader for the sport. Because if we have a Pied Piper to take what has existed this past summer and take it to the world, you know, there's no end to what we could achieve.
One of the reasons why I think Iran's avoiding a mass casualty event for the US, such as a sinking of a ship where hundreds of soldiers die, if that happens, then the support for the war is actually going to increase in the US. And that might actually be the driver that results in more soldiers going into the region. People think that an event like that will cause you to move back, but in reality, in a lot of instances, it's going to make you move forward, because the benefit of not doing anything and retracting is much less than the benefit of trying to escalate from a political perspective of how you as a leader, Trump, is being seen by your population. Is he going to be seen as weak? If hundreds of soldiers die and he retracts, that's a sign of weakness. People are going to perceive that. But if he moves forward, that's a sign of strength. And there's a rally around the flag effect. In the same way that there's a rally around the flag effect in Iran, when the US attacked Iran, people came together, united more than before the war against a foreign party that's attacking Iran. But, some people will say, well, even if Iran sinks a ship, it's in retaliation to the U.S. But a lot of people won't see that. People are not going to remember, in 130 days ago, the U.S. started this war. Unfortunately, people have a short-term memory. They're going to just think about U.S. soldiers dead, killed. And there's going to be anger, and there's going to push people to put pressure on the president to escalate.
So my first week in jail, and I've already told a lot of stories, but I just want to tell some important points for the story. My first week in jail, I come to the conclusion that the Romanian system is a setup, and that these clowns, these prosecutors, are idiots who know I me down and steal my money.